So according to the Canadian Prime Minister office, Joe Biden will host a virtual meeting today on Ukraine with NATO and tell them that diplomacy has failed and expect Russia to go full attack on Ukraine next week. In related news, South Korea has announced a ban on all travel to Ukraine. Japan has told their citizen to get the hell out of the country too. The Netherlands has too. Meanwhile, the moron that's supposed to be in charge of British defense, Ben Wallace, said the Russians told him that they had no intentions of invading Ukraine. Sure bro. Like they didn't invade Crimea or have had troops in eastern Ukraine for the last 8 years. Yesterday there was a new meeting of the Normandy Four in Berlin, and of course it concluded without concrete results. Russia refused to make any kind of concession on anything. They just ask that Ukraine and the West give them everything they want, or else they threaten war. Yesterday, one of the 2 combat-sent aircraft from the United States Air Force was seen en route to Europe. These planes provide strategic electronic reconnaissance information to the President, Secretary of Defense, Department of Defense leaders and theater commanders. It locates and identifies foreign military land, naval and airborne radar signals, records these signals for future reference and extensive analysis so the data can be used to detect, warn and defeat those systems. News reported yesterday that Ukraine will receive anti-ship missiles from the United Kingdom to counter the Russian Navy in the Sea of Azov and Black Sea. If the Russians try to make a coast landing, they will suffer casualties. No word on when or how many or what type of anti-ship missiles will be sent. The United Kingdom Navy has 3 types of anti-ship missiles, but the only one that could do the job is the Harpoon. Thing is, it's only launched from ships, so it will take months if not years before Ukraine receives anything useful. Biden said that they expect the attack next week. A couple of important events are set for next week. Russian amphibious assault ships and more ships from the Northern Fleet are arriving. There's huge notice to mariners, for wide areas of the Black Sea from February 13 to 19. Basically saying Russia will be launching missiles and torpedoes in those areas for supposed training. The joint Belarusian-Russian exercises end on February 20. The Olympics end on February 20. The Russian delegation has confirmed they are not going to the Munich Security Conference from February 18 to 20, the first time they won't go since 1999. Also an important date, on February 14, the Russian Duma, the parliament, will decide to recognize the fake independent republics in eastern Ukraine. If they do, they could invade to annex it or to supposedly protect it from Ukraine or some bullshit. And the last important date for diplomacy, Olaf Scholz, the new German chancellor, will go visit Moscow on February 15. I think this will be the last moment diplomacy will be possible, and since Scholz loves to lick Russian boots, nothing good will come out of this. As we thought, the news reports finally confirmed that Russia has deployed hypersonic nuclear missiles capable of hitting every NATO capital in Kaliningrad. Russia has deployed 2/3 of their entire ground forces on the border with Ukraine, along with 6 of their 7 special forces, and they're still trying to make us believe it's just a drill. Putin really thinks the world is stupid. Putin's yacht, the Graceful, has left Hamburg, Germany, where it was under repair since September. The repairs were not finished. Clearly this is a sign Putin is planning war and expecting sanctions. In an interview with NBC News, Biden said yesterday that all Americans in Ukraine should leave because Russia will attack it soon. He said that he wouldn't send American troops to evacuate Americans stuck in the conflict because that could lead to World War III. When the American president starts talking about World War III, you know we're in dangerous territory. Sweden remembers. The number of Swedes trying to apply for the army and the Home Guard are up by huge margins. Because they remember World War II and how Russia wants to invade countries and kill loads of people. Another sign that Putin needs to hurry up if he wants to attack is that the Russian conscripts will end their service and be discharged between March and June. Telling troops to stay there even if their time is up will destroy morale. Remember how the United States said that Russia was planning a bullshit excuse with videos of Russians being killed in Ukraine to start a war? Funny how when the entire Russian army is ready to attack Ukraine, by coincidence, The Russian puppets in eastern Ukraine claim to have found 130 mass graves of civilians killed by the Ukrainian army. They are so predictable. Macron went to see Putin in Moscow a few days ago and everybody laughed at him, but he came back with interesting information. Basically, Putin has been making up conspiracy theories about NATO plots against Russia and all kind of bullshit. Putin has basically gone full QAnon, believing in his own lie. Olaf Scholz, the new Chancellor of Germany, is supposed to go to Kiev on February 14 and Moscow on February 15. I fully expect Putin to humiliate Scholz like he did Macron. Maybe then that thick-headed moron in Berlin will realize you can't make peace with a psychopath like Putin. There's several reports that Russia is calling up reservists for its army. We don't know the number of reservists in the Russian army because of a law that made it classified information. Anyway, one report from a reservist, not confirmed, is that they are being given Russian-Ukrainian phrase books and Ukrainian passports. After the Macron and Putin meeting, Macron said Russia had promised that there wouldn't be new provocations on the border. A few hours later, Peskov, Putin's spokesman, denied any such promise. Another sign that Moscow is planning war on Ukraine. A representative of the Russian embassy told the TASS news service that they are planning a temporary evacuation of the non-essential personnel from Ukraine. A big sign that war could be imminent. Field hospitals have been set up around Ukraine by the Russian army. You get that info with the blood supplies being brought to the border and the result ain't hopeful. So let's talk about the Russian propaganda to justify war at home. Putin's spokesman, Peskov, is saying that Russian intelligence is seeing signs of an offensive by the Ukrainian army in the Donbass, which is a load of crap, of course. Then you got Putin's buddy, the head of the SVR, the Russian CIA, that the Ukrainian preparations for war against eastern Ukraine are in full swing, with even NATO special forces and equipment being brought in to kill Russians. It's made up lies, of course, but the question is, do they really believe that crap, or is this just for internal propaganda? That is the question. But from all the books I've read on Putin and his gang, I think he fully believes all those lies. The guy thinks everything that happens in the world is a conspiracy against Russia by the United States. He's gone full nuts thanks to decades of GRU propaganda. Hell, the Russian propaganda even says that jihadists are planning provocations and are siding with Ukraine against Russia. And of course they call the Syrian White Helmet groups, humanitarian groups that help people in Syria, terrorists. What's next? The Red Cross are terrorists. Another sign that Russia wants diplomacy to fail. Russia says security talks will fail if the European Union gives a collective response to their proposal. Of course Russia doesn't want that, because then it cannot use every country response as a weapon to turn European countries against each other. A video coming out of the border with Ukraine, the Russian army is bringing barbed wire in trucks to deploy really fast. Why would you need that if it's just training? These could be used to block roads or set up prisoner camps for Ukrainians. It seems to me all points toward war in Ukraine within a week. Europe is still in their own safety bubble, thinking that licking Russian boots will bring them peace. Russian dictators like Putin only respect one thing, force, and for now Europe is not projecting that at all.